A very good morning to all participants. I'm Aishah from Universiti Malaysia Sabah, Malaysia. Would like to share my research entitled A Model of Tie Strength, the Case of Poor Students and Zakat Institution. So this is the layout of the research. Consists of background of the study, research framework, findings, limitation, and future research. As for introduction, what is zakat? Zakat is the words from Arabic language. Zakat is a religious obligation ordering all Muslims who meet the necessary criteria to donate a certain portion, which is 2.5% of their wealth each year to charitable causes. So most of the zakat collection is in monetary form. Who is zakat recipient? In Arabic language is also known as the asnaf. There are 8 types of zakat recipient, but for this research, I only focus on those living without means of livelihood or the poor ones. So who manage the zakat collection? So in Malaysia, we do have a zakat institution. Zakat institution is a mandated and collected by the state. The research problem. Less attention is paid to the social tie strength between the recipient and the zakat institutions. Furthermore, there is an infrequent interaction between the recipient of the zakat and zakat institution. Less activity for updating about recipient progress, and finally, lack of platform and mechanism to communicate between the recipient and also the zakat institution. All the problem arise is significantly related with the social relationship. Thus, this research applied the idea of Granovetter 1973 on how to develop the social tie strength through relational exchange, emotional intensity, mutual confiding, and trust dimension. Conceptual framework. Hypothesis number 1 examine the trust and the personal commitment. So personal trust is the degree to which the recipient believes that the zakat institution can perform effectively and is interested in the welfare of their recipient. Hypothesis number 2, examine the emotional intensity and personal commitment. Emotional intensity is the degree of emotional attachment that assess feeling and the relationship importance beyond any economic transaction. Hypothesis number 3, examine the mutual confiding and personal commitment. Mutual confiding is the intensity and the quality of bidirectional information exchange between the recipient and also zakat institution. For hypothesis number 4, examine the relational exchange and personal commitment. Relational exchange are the degree to which problems and improvement in the reciprocal relationship are considered for the benefit of both parties jointly. Hypothesis number 5, examine the personal commitment and also recipient behavior. For personal commitment is the degree of the recipient effort and intention to develop and maintain a stable long-term relationship in the future. Meanwhile, recipient behavior is the degree of recipient tendency to consume the fund, the aid, or the assistance for their basic needs and the ability to utilize the fund, the aids, the assistance beyond their basic needs. Methods. G-power analysis has been used to identify the sample. From that analysis, 129 poor students who receive a zakat education has been identified. There is no response bias procedure was tested. For data analysis, Smart PLS version 3.2.8 was used to analyze the measurement and the structural model. Trust, emotional intensity, mutual confiding, relational exchange, personal commitment, recipient behavior instrument has been adapted. The findings. Hypothesis number 1, hypothesis number 2, hypothesis number 3, and hypothesis number 4 is strongly supported with the R square 93.2%. So it means that the trust, emotional intensity, mutual confiding, relational exchange variable explained by the personal commitment. Meanwhile, for the hypothesis number 5, also supported with the R square 83.3% means that personal commitment variable explained by the recipient behavior. As for discussion, research has focused primarily on the service effectiveness. So it provides strong empirical support for institutional and personal commitment, identifies several antecedents to each type of personal commitment, and highlights its effect on the relational exchange in institutional service relationship. Number 2, the research also found that there is unidimensionality, means that the results suggest that socially derived bonds can be usefully examined as a separate behavioral and emotional dimension. Number 3, not devoid relevant emotional content. So this result is consistent with the emerging literature on the importance of socio-psychological drivers in reciprocal relationship. Discussion 4, highlighting the developing committed recipient and zakat institution relationship, which lead to the recipient behavior. A zakat institution not only reaps the reward of the recipient, but can also benefit from more effective operation through more collaborative arrangement. Behavioral and emotional dimension could be an integral part of zakat institution mission and strategy. Zakat institution needs to consider the culture and the values of the recipient and determine which activities would build strong social and emotional ties. Limitation and future research. This research highlights only a recipient site. For future research, it is recommended that collecting both zakat institution and recipient. Secondly, zakat this research only focus on zakat education assistant and poor students. So for the future research, it should focus on another zakat assistant or other type of recipient. So that's all for the sharing. Thank you very much.